Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to be here, to be the first presenter. My presentation is on policy and environmental approaches in the area of physical activity promotion, and I'm going to talk about some international perspective related to this issue. I would like to talk about three main issues or topics. The first one is to raise some conceptual issues here, how to theoretically frame the relationship between infrastructure and physical activity promotion. The second part is related to a very short summary of the evidence base related to the associations between the environment and physical activity, but also related to the policy and environmental approaches to promote physical activities or interventions. And finally, I would like to, in my third point, I would like to give you also a very short idea about a European project on developing European guidelines for improving infrastructures for physical activity. So the first part is on theory, but I hope it's nevertheless interesting for you, and I've chosen this picture and I looked for it for a long time, and I took this picture then in Jyväskylä in Finland. And what you can see here is a crosscut. You see the regular way is around this little trees, but people have chosen here a crosscut to go directly through the trees. So what does this picture tell us about the interplay between infrastructure and physical activity? Very often the relationship is perceived in a deterministic, hierarchical way. So there's an infrastructure that needs to be there, and then we have a certain physical activity behavior. But if you see here, how did this structure start? There was one person who walks this crosscut, and then there were others walking there. And then there was a kind of a structure appearing. And now it's, of course, there is a structure and people choose this crosscut to go there. But what happens when they stop to go there? The grass will grow again and no structure. So there is really an interplay between structure and agency, which is very, very important. So it's not enough to build infrastructure. It's the same kind, it's important that it's used, that there are agency, people, organizations that are using it. This actually is the interplay. You see, they are necessary. Without them, no infrastructure. So it's, in theoretical term, it's a dialectic relationship between structure and agency. What does it mean in terms of quality demands if we talk about health-enhancing physical activity? So the context for health-enhancing physical activity in the context of the World Health Organization is health promotion. And health promotion is defined as a process of enabling people to increase control over the determinants of health and thereby improve their health. So if we relate this to infrastructures for physical activity, increase people's control over these determinants has certain important implications for the development of infrastructures and for the use of infrastructures, which I will focus on at my last part. So the main areas, the main domains of health promotion actions are build healthy public policies, create supportive environment, strengthen community action, develop personal skills. So these are main domains. How do these main domains of the Ottawa Charter of Health Promotion, how do they relate to the interplay of structure and agency? This is what I, since today, call the Big 8. And hopefully you will hear about the Big 8 in the near future. We are going to publish this, but it's something brand new. So here we relate the idea of the interplay between structure and agency the four domains of the Ottawa Charter. So what you can see here, we divide between a political level, where policy comes in, and operational level, where really the interplay between environment and physical activity takes place. So, for example, one way to go is, if there is a healthy public policy, this could create supportive environments that are used by people to develop their personal skills, but also the personal skills and their physical activity of the people feed back again to the environment, so it becomes a more safe and more physical friendly environment if people are active in the area. And the other way around, personal skills may also help to develop community action. Participation in policy is very important, and this would then feed back again. So very theoretically complicated, but I think also practical issue and a concept that will be applied in the future. The next part of my presentation is referring to evidence, and what you already learned from Walter Brehm's presentation today. This is a review of reviews, so it's on 13 quantitative reviews of papers on the association between the environment and physical activity. About 300 studies and 300 papers are involved in this review of reviews. And you see the relationship, the association between the environment and physical activity is quite clear. And it's also interesting, if you look for details, that the strongest focus is related, the strongest evidence is related to the proximity of recreation facilities, destination factors as well, and also mixed land use. This review of reviews has some limitations, but it shows that there are, in these 300 studies, overall there is an evidence for an association between the environment and physical activity. This is a different review on the evidence done by NICE, the National Institute of Clinical Excellence. They have included 25 studies, and from their review, it's on the one hand, this review shows that the evidence related to complex interventions to promote physical activity via the environment is quite small, because it's very difficult to find a good study design for these interventions. And there, these decision prompt interventions, where Walter Brehm already focused on today, they do have quite a good evaluation that they are effective, but they demonstrate mainly, these studies demonstrate mainly a short-term positive effect. There are also WHO review on interventions on diet and physical activity, and they actually come to quite close and similar conclusions like the NICE review, and they rate actually environmental interventions and policies as effective, and multi-target approaches to encourage walking and other kinds of moderate activities as moderately effective. So in conclusion, most reviews indicate